There are some headlines that are concerning, and they always are when it comes to the southern border. The direction I went earlier has to do with the attitude toward immigration, and I'm going to get to that again in a moment. But Juan Ciscomani was on with Arizona's Evening News yesterday with Becky Lynn and had a couple of things to say. And he took a trip to the border. This is him talking about the trip to the border with the Border Patrol.
I called Border Patrol, and I said, I want a tour of the border where people usually don't go in the areas that are not really seen. And I said, I'm not looking for cameras or a press conference or anything. I want to go get the real deal of what's happening. And I saw that how overwhelmed and over capacity our forces are.
One of the complaints, the Cochise County Sheriff is asking for help from the state and federal government because CBP, that's Customs and Border Protection, are releasing people into the streets of Cochise County. And this is backed up by the congressman.
We start seeing street releases, and we heard about that possibility of happening. So we immediately started applying some pressure. But as soon as it happened, the day that I actually flew into Washington on Tuesday, we sent that letter out that same evening, demanding some answers from the Mayorkas agency here and Department of Homeland Security, and that's when we shut it off. This was happening, and it happened again today. So more street releases happened today.
So he was asked, you reached out to Mayorkas. Have they responded?
We haven't. The last letter I sent them also asking questions regarding the 85,000 unaccompanied children that have been lost within the federal administration between the transfer of him over to the Department of Health and Human Services, both obviously under the Biden administration. And I asked where these kids are and how come the federal government lost track of them. It took them weeks and weeks to get an answer to me. I think it was over a month for sure. And the response was a non-response.
And here's part of the issue with this in New York. I've got two headlines. One from the New York Times, suing, heckling, cursing New York City protests against migrant escalates. The loudspeaker on a quiet Staten Island street blasted demands at 117 decibels, louder than a dog barking in your ear, pointed at a school that sheltered some 110,000 migrants who have arrived in New York City over the last year and a half. The message could not have been more unwelcoming. Immigrants are not safe here, is what they were saying. This is the first place where they're trying to really infringe on our liberties and our freedoms. This is the hill I will die on, because if we break here, we break everywhere. These are quotes from New Yorkers. This is a headline from earlier today. Angry New Yorkers drown out Jerry Nadler during a chaotic immigration presser. Jerry Nadler said that immigration makes us stronger. The protesters screaming back, "This is America." Another man standing behind him could be seen flipping off with both hands. "Close the freaking border," someone yelled. "Close the border. Go back to your country. Go back to your own country," one woman screamed. "You are not welcome here. You are not welcome here." Let me explain again how detrimental this is to Americanism. But you can't blame people. People are frustrated. We call everybody a migrant now. Everybody is lumped together. I've been telling stories recently, more and more so, about immigration, legal immigration, and how good it is for America. That we see people that come here and they are truly proud, patriotic Americans. They understand the sacrifice of doing it the right way. They also understand the benefits of living in this country that you can't have in other places in the world. I think if you're going to save American and patriotism, if you're going to save this country and its patriotism, it's going to be by people that have come here, like nations from Cuba and Russia and Venezuela and all over the world, that have really found out the American dream is still alive. And they live it every day, and they preach it every day. Those are the people that will save Americanism, in my humble opinion. But when we convolute everything, when we bring everybody in and we call them all migrants, this is what happens. What is happening in New York and what is happening in Massachusetts and Washington, D.C. and Chicago, Illinois and Douglas, Arizona and McAllen, Texas and all over this country is we are being inundated by people that are shirking and circumventing our laws, and Americans are fed up. So what's happening is the opinion on immigration is souring. And think about New York, of all places, saying, shut down the border, go home, you're not welcome here. The Statue of Liberty stands at Ellis Island. The Statue of Liberty with the great Colossus, give us your tired, your poor, your huddled masses. the beacon and symbol of American immigration for generations. And that city, the international city that is New York, screaming out, shut the border. The people are not racist. The people are not xenophobic, just like Arizona hasn't been for all these years when we're screaming, close the border. They are fed up with illegal immigration. There is a difference between legal and illegal immigration. We have to always make the distinction, and we have to fix illegal immigration, period, or you're going to lose a big piece of true Americanism.